My name is Rosanne Cioli, and I'm a theology teacher, and I teach sophomores and seniors.
I am Paddlery Nipper, and I work in the Office of Advancement, and I am the Alumni Engagement Person for Marian High School.
My name is Amy Blevins, and I am the Vocal Arts Director. I am the Fine and Performing Arts Department Chair, and I am the producer and vocal director of the Marian Rice Players.
Hi, I'm Kristen Rowland. I am the Social Studies Department Chair, and I teach U.S. History and Economics.
Hi, I'm Bess Reich, and I am a school counselor here at Marian.
Hi, I'm Mary Steinhauer, aka Steiny. I am a chemistry and math teacher here at Marian High School.
I'm Elle Flynn. I am one of the counselors here at Marian. It's my first year and I'm an alum, so I graduated in 2013.
I'm a baby boomer. I really can't isolate one event because it was so many events happening at the same time. We had the backdrop of the Vietnam War and how women were veterans and affected by the war. We had things like the race riots. We had numerous assassinations, 3 beloved leaders, John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which really turned society upside down. At the very same time, it was the beginning of women's liberation and the feminist movement. It was also amidst the culture of love and hippie culture. The Jesus Revolution was taking shape, and there were so many events that you really couldn't separate out, except the fact that women were affected by all of them.
So it was the first time that I remember that young people were marching and picketing and gathering in groups to share their thoughts about the Vietnam War and people being drafted. It was also a time when Gloria Steinem was becoming well known for her women's movement. And I think that that probably had the biggest impact on me going forward and really on women, because it was the changes in what jobs they could do, what education they could do. So I think those are the biggest changes and the things that I remember most about what was happening in the 60s and the 70s.
Gotta talk about the music and the amazing women artists of my generation. I grew up on Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, Whitney Houston. I mean, does it get much better than that? I mean, these amazing women artists that were so important during the 1980s.
I'm a proud member of Generation X, and an event that really transformed my life, and I continue to see the transform the lives of my students, is the passage of the Patsy Mink Equal Opportunity in Education Act, also known as Title IX. It was signed into law in 1972, and while it takes time for laws to sometimes really have an impact, over the last 51 years, there have been increasing opportunities for women, both academically and athletically. Personally, I benefited from Title IX. I got a chance to pursue my passions in softball and basketball at both the high school and college level. I'm prayerful that Title IX will continue to evolve and help future generations achieve whatever dreams they have for themselves.
I think something that was really meaningful for me at that age was seeing women finally in power in some high levels of our government. So in the 1990s, I think when I was in middle school, is when Janet Reno was nominated to be Attorney General, and that was the first woman in a role of that caliber in our government. And then soon after that, Madeleine Albright was named Secretary of State. It was important because seeing women in positions of power, seeing people like me represented at that high level in the government, really made me feel, and I think makes lots of young people feel, like they can do that too.
When Ruth Bader Ginsburg got appointed to the Supreme Court, because she was the second woman ever to get appointed to the Supreme Court, and I was always like vaguely fascinated with politics, even as like a really little kid, and wanted to be a justice, I think, at one point. Obviously, I didn't do that, but so that was kind of, because it's nice to see, you know, like, oh, if they can do it, so can I.
I feel very lucky that being part of the Gen Z generation, that we've had a number of different moments in history, and they're all bits and pieces as opposed to like maybe huge moments in the past. I feel like women kind of can do anything they want now. But one of the biggest moments I feel like was when the first female was running for president, which kind of opened up some opportunities for other women, like our current vice president.
One of the reasons I chose to be at an all-girls school is I really believe very strongly in women empowerment. And I feel like there's a lot of forces in society that sometimes work against women. And I not only wanted to be a role model of someone who I think has really worked through a lot of those obstacles in society, but I wanted to be there for young women as they were trying to figure that out for themselves. One of the things I like best about working with young women is that not only do I get to teach them, but I learn so much. There's such an alive energy that I feel from the girls, and I also feel like young women are very receptive to sharing feelings and taking things to a deeper level, not so much just surface. And so for me, it's just such an engaging, kind of enlivening experience that totally makes my life better, and I love giving back to them as well.
I attended Marian, so I was here as a student, and I loved my time here as a student. It was a time, and I still see this today, where you could come and just be yourself and look like yourself. My daughter attended here in the early 2000s, and I could see the amazing academics that were happening here with her. And really, as a parent, I realized the whole Marian community was here rooting for the girls and uplifting everybody. Parents helping parents, parents helping teachers, and I decided when this job opened up in the alumni area that I wanted to come back and be a part of Marian community again, and see the amazing students that were here, but also to tell the story to the public of the amazing alumni that we've had here.
It's an interesting story of how I came to be at Marian. I actually started in 2007 as a private voice teacher here. I subbed, I did a choir concert, and I found that I absolutely loved it. I already loved it here from a private teacher standpoint, but I loved being around the community. I loved being around all of the girls. It's such an empowering environment here, and I think that that is so important for the upcoming generation of women.
I believe strongly in Marian's mission, and it is a privilege to work alongside such remarkable young women who are our future. It is humbling and exciting, and it is awe-inspiring to see them begin to realize who God intended them to be and to have the confidence to be that person.
I really love seeing, obviously, what our students accomplish when they leave here, and I'm fortunate to have close relationships with a lot of our alums and get to see really how their education here prepared them for their life moving forward. I think as a person who went to a co-ed high school, it's a big difference. It's a big difference in our students who have been in an all-girls environment. I definitely think our students, prioritize learning. They enjoy school. Our students are so involved in the community and in leadership and different roles here at Marian. And our students don't really realize that that's not the norm everywhere.
So one of my first jobs was at Divine Child. And just by sheer coincidence, my AP and honors chem classes there were majority female. And so I got this exposure to what is it like when the environment is majority female, and I saw that they talk a lot more. They're having discussions a lot more. And I liked that, because being able to talk and have those discussions is an important skill for life in general, for in the workplace and such. And the sooner you start practicing it, the better. And so I was like, oh, I want to teach girls then. I want to help develop those skills with them.
So the main reason that I wanted to work at Marian was because I was a student here in high school, and I remember what it felt like to be at an all-girls school, and I always felt very comfortable and very supported. I still have a number of my friends that I had when I was in high school, and I get to see what they have accomplished as leaders in their positions now as young professionals. And I think that really all of those core skills and leadership skills all came from our time at Marian.
Well, I thought about, the women that have influenced me over my lifetime. And honestly, I know this sounds crazy, but I just couldn't really pick one. I have a whole set of people who were familiar to me, mothers, aunts, and sisters. I have teachers and mentors that I've had over the years, but I've also had a lot of really strong icons that historically have been in the periods that I lived through. And so my philosophy about life is that whatever woman comes across my path, whether it's in a personal way or whether it's in a public way, I just kind of look for something that really attracts me to them. And then I take that and I think about how can I use that to help me be a better person.
So there were a lot of women that I think that I looked to and thought, wow, that is an amazing person doing amazing things. But I think probably the person that made the biggest impact on me was my mom. She was a single parent. She went back to school when we were young children so that she could make a better life for us. She taught us to excel in school and really in anything that we did. And for me, to see her, she was the head of a household, so she was really a leader and really pushed us to be the best that we could be.
It might be cheesy, but I have to say my mom. My mom was a teacher for 40 years, and you don't realize until you get older the sacrifices and the time that moms give. Her expertise in teaching helped me so much, and just her independence and her strongness has been a constant inspiration to me, and I really don't know what I would do without my mom. I love my mom.
My mom was the perfect mom for me, and I am so blessed that she remains a part of my life. She also was an educator who devoted her time to her students, and she taught me what it meant to care and to try and to love and to give and to treat others with compassion.
I would definitely have to say that my mom has been the most influential woman on me. First of all, we both have the same career, so she was a counselor as well. Something also that my mom has really talked to me and my siblings about a lot was sharing with us things about women's history and women's rights, and also talking to us about feminism and what that means to her. That's something that has been really important to me. In my mind, being a feminist means that you support women and you lift up women. And that's something I get to do every day in my role as a school counselor with our students, with our teachers, and with our alums.
I'm going to be very cheesy and say my mom. Because my mom, she's retired now, but she was the breadwinner. She worked at Ford Credit for, I think, over 30 years. But she wasn't just doing work, she was also doing choir at our church, and she was helping out with my school plays, with the costuming stuff, and she was also doing other sewing on the side. She kind of illustrated for me the idea of that work-life balance phrase that gets thrown out a lot before that was ever really a phrase of you can work and you can do everything, but you also should take that time to live for yourself as well.
I'm one girl with 3 brothers, and then I also spent a lot of my time growing up with a number of cousins who were boys, so it was usually just me and then my mom and her 2 sisters. So I really got to learn from them what it was like to have strong female relationships, and then also they all are educators, so I definitely learned from them like a passion for education, and one of them's a counselor, so I definitely still rely on them for advice today and in my current role as a counselor, and I get to empower the girls here.
I guess what I would say is to be kind to yourself. There's going to be so many ways that you're going to grow, which means success, which means failure, which means confusion. And I guess the most important thing is that you want to keep track of your own energy. And when you need help, ask for it. And just recognize that you have a purpose in your life. And certainly the idea of spirituality, bringing God into the picture and recognizing that you are made for a reason and you're needed and you're valued and you're cherished and the world can't go on without you.
Don't just take someone's word for it. If someone is telling you something and you kind of feel that it's not right, investigate that. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because it's going to help you in making decisions that are best for yourself and not just going along because someone told you to.
Listen to your gut. It really doesn't steer you wrong. And keep fighting the fight. There is so much about this generation of women that I am proud of and proud to stand in front of, that I'm really excited to see what's on the horizon.
So in the words of Dolly Parton, I would encourage you to find out who you are and to do it on purpose. And with that, I hope you always remember your why. And then remember the words of Philippians 4:13. We can do things through Christ who strengthens us.
I think that you need to pursue things in life that are really going to make you happy and have boundaries while also reaching for what you want. Know what you want, stand up for your values, and take care of yourself, because it's your life and you're not living it for anyone else. You need to do what's best for you.
Be weird. Don't, we have a lot of expectations of we have to do everything exactly like this, or people are going to look at us. They're going to look at you funny no matter what you do. So just be weird. Be yourself. Do it how you need to get it done.
I think it's really hard now, with so much of influence from other people, whether that's on your phone or from your peers. I think it's really hard to just kind of be yourself and trust your gut. So that's something I tell students all the time, is just trust your gut and know that you know what's right for you.